Hello, welcome to the latest MK Web, MK Dons sports podcast with myself, Dan Palmer and Scott Kirk. Since last time we spoke, we've made it through to the next round of the FA Cup, 1-0 against Dover. I guess we got the result. Did we get the performance as well?
Not really. I guess is the simple answer to that. When you're beating Halifax 4-1 in the first round and then you're playing a team which is a full league below Halifax in the next round, you'd expect a similar sort of result, and it wasn't really like that. I mean, Dover did play well, in fairness. They attacked quite well, Dover, actually, which was surprising, and I had one or two chances in that, but it should have been a lot more comfortable, really, for Dons. But, the first half, I'm struggling to remember a chance in the first half, the first half was particularly poor. Neither team hit the target, really, I don't think, and it was just, you get those halves when it's 0-0 and you're just sort of thinking, this is just boring, It was just one of those, so, but, it was, good goal by Ben Reeves, and it'd be quite nice to see him on the score sheet now. He's had a few weeks to get more adapted to this number 10 role, and I think he needs to start stepping up a little bit to getting those goals now. We can't keep relying on Bamford. He's gone a few games without scoring now, and without that, you're looking at a Sean Williams free kick, and then you're wondering where the goals are coming from, really. So, it'd be nice if Reeves can get more goals like that. George Baldock was superb when he came on at half-time, which was really encouraging. Whether he's the sort of player who can start a game and do that for 90 minutes, you're not sure, because he's a good impact player to sort of bring on, but it'd be nice to see Baldock start a few more games maybe, because his energy, I think, can really... Yeah,
it would be. I mean, he's been around the squad for a few seasons now, really. He's spent some time on loan at Northampton and Tamworth, even a spell in Iceland in their top tier. So he's bided his time, and I think he's worked really hard behind the scenes by all accounts. So it'd be really good to see him get his opportunity on the pitch. And,
I mean, he certainly changed the game on Saturday. It was very poor in that first half, and then he came on for Jason Banton at half time, and just that extra energy, and he set up Reeves' goal as well, and he could have had one himself. So it was very, very impressive in the second half, and it just kind of keep that going for the whole 90 minutes, but. I think he deserves a bit more of a start, to be honest. He always looks like he's got that energy on the right, and with Daniel Powell not playing as well at the moment. I know Carl, we played Samir Carruthers on Saturday. I was very impressed with him against Dover. I'd be shocked if Samir Carruthers isn't in the starting lineup, probably on that left-hand side, I'd imagine. There's Dale Jennings for the left-hand side, isn't he? And he'll be back. So there's a few good options for Dons at the weekend.
Yeah, I remember the George Baldock performance against Burnley in the League Cup a couple of years ago. It was absolutely superb. Yeah. And I guess it's hard for him. He's been in the shadow of his brother Sam, obviously, but he's been gone a long time now. So I think Dons fans will welcome a Baldock in the team on a week in, week out.
I mean, every time he's on the pitch, the fans love it. He's one of our own and all that sort of stuff, which is great. You want to see your youth products, in the team, don't you? Any club wants to say that. So it'd be nice to see him starting, but we'll have to see what happens for Saturday, obviously.
Yeah.
I know what the best if Dele Alli's fit as well. I think he was touch and go, so probably won't risk him on Saturday, but for a game which is going to be very difficult anyway.
Yeah, I think we're all glad we're through, and especially there's no replay on the French-English border.
That would have been an interesting one to go to.
Very tough.
Well, I'm off next week, so that would have been you going.
It would have been me, yeah.
But no, I mean, you'd never want a replay against a non-league team. You get that replay at their ground, and anything can happen after.
Yeah.
So you don't know. I mean, I don't mean any disrespect to Dover with this, but obviously you'd expect a pitch at that level not to be the same standard as the Dons, and anything can happen there. So, it's good to just get through. Sometimes you do have to. I know it's a massive cliche, but you have to get through some of those games, don't you? And if you can just get through with a win, then it can kickstart your season. So.
Yeah, we think we're all very relieved about that. It was 0-0 at half time on Saturday, though. A few boos from the crowds. My personal opinion is after the game, have a pop all you like.
Yeah.
But during the 90 minutes, I don't think it helps. And I know you pay your money and you're entitled to do whatever you like at the ground, really, within reason. But I don't see how it helps during the match.
Not at half time. So I mean, in all honesty, I'm not really a fan of booing at all, to be honest. That's my personal view. I mean, I'm not saying fans shouldn't do it, because people. I've never been a season ticket holder at a club, so I guess if you're paying your money and the players aren't performing, voicing your opinion, I can understand that. But I just don't see how it helps, really, to be honest. If you're not happy, there's plenty of phone-in shows. There's websites like, I've not meant to put it on the website, but there's websites like ours you can get into.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure what booing really does, to be honest. I've never been a fan of players off the pitch.
Like I say, I think after the game, if you want to go online, and absolutely fine, but no help whatsoever during the 90 minutes for me.
I think it just riles people up more than anything, and it's like, the players are trying their hardest, like, I'm not trying to, if the players out. I don't want to sound like I'm just defending players here, because if we've not been good enough, people are entitled to voice their opinion, but I just don't see what booing does. I think it just riles people up more than anything.
And an apparent incident with Sean Williams kicking the football into the stand. Someone's emailed Carl Robinson, I believe. And,
that's right, yeah. I mean, to be completely honest, I didn't actually see this at half-time. And it was a question which Three Counties Radio asked at the end of the game, and it was like, oh, right, okay. So we asked Carl about it on Tuesday when we spoke to him, and he's got an email which he says he'll respond to personally.
Yeah.
I think Sean Williams picked up a knock during that game, so it wasn't actually around the Dons training camp for the few days after.
Right.
After the game, but he was due to sit down and speak with Sean Williams on Tuesday. I'm sure it was just one of those. To me, Sean Williams doesn't come across as that kind of. Probably he's kicked a ball into a crowd or something, but he's so cool and calm and collected that he doesn't seem. He's not my best mate or anything, so I don't know the guy that well, but it just doesn't. My impression of him isn't that he would be so annoyed that he would want to do that. I'm sure it was just, you see it all the time, players booting the ball in the air, and maybe it's just one of those which has just gone wrong, or but I'm just conjecturing here, because obviously I didn't see it myself, but maybe
something that was just an instinctive thing. I think it's a bit of a storm and teacup, really. At a time like this, in the league form's not so great. We need everyone pulling in the same direction. So hopefully this will be glossed over very quickly, and we can move on. I agree with that. I mean, it's I didn't see it myself, so it's difficult to know fully what's happened, but it probably is just one of those. It's a bit of a ball in the air. It's accidentally hit someone, and probably in crowd or something like that, and hopefully we can just move on with it, really. Yeah, and then Sunday, obviously the day after the game, we had the draw. Everyone hoping for Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea. We didn't get that, but my reaction was Wigan away. Oh no! And then suddenly. Oh wait a minute, they're the holders, aren't they?
I think everyone knows them. Like you sort of think Wigan, our Championship club, and then it clicks a second later. And it's like, actually, these are the FA Cup holders here. So it might not have generated the money that an Old Trafford or a trip to the Emirates might do, or I'm sure Carl would have loved a trip to Liverpool, or something like that. But the romance of the tie is fantastic, I think, and. I'm really looking forward to going there. It's you showed me that picture of the trophy in the Wigan cabinet at the moment.
They've the reception at the DW Stadium, obviously the home of the Warriors Rugby League team as well, and they've got the FA Cup, the Super League, and the Challenge Cup trophies all next to each other. It's a fine achievement for a town of that size. I know a bit of money's been pumped into the football club, but. Fantastic, really. So.
It's great for them. I'm a Leeds Rhinos fan as well, so I don't want to praise the Wigan Warriors too much. But in terms of a draw for a game, I'd like to think that'd be on TV as well. I mean, I know there's some other Arsenal, Spurs. And
they've already picked the sides. Actually, we haven't made it on them.
That surprises me. But, that does surprise me, because if you're running the programme, the programme writes itself if you put Wigan on there. Last season. That does surprise me, that actually. I thought Dons might have a squeaky getting on TV with playing the holders, but. I guess it's just one of those. But I'm really looking forward to that game. Playing a team that's been in the Europa League this season. What a caveat that'd be to knock the FA Cup holders out. That could be a massive. Again, it's a massive boost. What a boost that could be to the season if we can get a result there. Bring them back to Stadium MK on a Tuesday night. Although Tuesday nights haven't been the best of times for Dons this season, but it should be. It should be a really good game.
I fancy Dons in that tie. They put Championship club in Sheffield Wednesday out at the same stage last season. And as Carl Robinson said in the MK News this week, it'd be great for the CV even to having beating the FA Cup holders, putting them out. They've played a lot of games this season as well, Wigan, with their Europa League adventures. I think they're in Slovenia tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I asked what Gary Waddock about this as well, and he kind of played that aspect down because, it's coming straight after the Boxing Day and New Year's Day games, of course. But, I think there is an argument that must have a sort of cumulative effect of playing Thursday, Sundays, which are very different. Of course, playing Sundays rather than Saturdays, it mixes up the routine for Wigan must be terrible this season because it's changing every week with the Europa League games. So I'd like to think that would have a little impact. Maybe gives Dons an extra bit of chance. Yeah,
and an interesting little sidebar, if you like, about the ties. Wigan's new manager, Uwe Rosler. I don't think there's much love lost between himself and Carl Robinson. Fans will remember last season before Rosler, obviously the former Brentford manager, took Brentford to Stadium MK and said in a local paper down there that he knew exactly how to beat MK Dons before the game.
But Carl said a sort of tongue-in-cheek thing on Tuesday about Uwe knows all about us, so I'm sure Wigan will...
he hasn't forgotten those comments.
No, I don't think he has.
And obviously it came back to haunt Rosler that day because Dons won 2-0 with Dean Bowditch, Stephen Gleeson getting the goals. He almost wrote the Dons team talk for them by saying that it's only ever going to backfire on him.
I don't know why you'd even say that, to be honest. It's just...
And they're going to be on the touchline again together after all, so there might be a few things said maybe in the build up to that game. We'll have to wait and see.
I think we'll have to be careful just that we're not watching those two as opposed to watching game, because you can imagine if there's a big decision and maybe a referee decision not going right, or you can imagine some sparks flying there. So I think that touchline battle will be as interesting as the game to watch, to be honest.
I'm sure Carl will not only want to put out the holders, he'd like to put out Uwe Rosler's team as well.
I think that'd be.
I'm sure there's a bit of needle there. I may be wrong, but
no, I think right. I think you're right. I think he'd quite like that.
Anyway, back to league action this weekend. We mentioned it briefly last time, but daunting looking trip away to Wolves. Probably on paper the toughest fixture in the division, you'd say, at the start of the season. And we're going there not in a very good run of form. So anything, we take a point on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that's the toughest game of the season. Wolves away. I can't see how it gets any harder than that, really. It's absolutely massive game that. But in fairness, though, I think sometimes when you get a game like this, the pressure's off, really. I think Stephen Gleeson made this point as well during the week, and I think it is a good point that you can. It takes the pressure off a little bit. You're on bad run of form. It's not going right. If Dons can get anything out of this game, that could be a massive boost. If it's something like a tight 0-0 or a tight 1-1, if we can just squeeze a result out of that on Saturday, that'll be a massive achievement for the way Wolves are going at the moment. I mean, they shouldn't be in this league, Wolves.
No.
They're way too big a club to be in this league, and to get anything out of that could be a massive boost. Of course, if it's a 4-0 defeat for Dons, which the defence hasn't been great over the last few weeks, which is a possibility. I think a performance is more important than the result on Saturday, which is rare to say in the league.
Yeah.
But I think a good performance is absolutely key. Even if it's a 2-1 defeat, a good performance could really give them a boost.
So they say the late December and Christmas period can define the season with all the games coming thick and fast. I think you're right. I think they need some sort of response. The trouble is playing Wolves away. They could play out their skins and still come away with nothing.
Well, that's it. But that's why I think the performance is more important than the result on Saturday. The result you would expect to be a loss. I think with how things are at the moment. So if a good performance could really, and if we can get the result, obviously that'd be a massive boost. But I think performance is key for Saturday.
It'll be an interesting day for the Dons chairman, Pete Winkleman, a boyhood Wolves fan. Can you imagine that, Bayern getting involved in another club and having to sort of support them against your boyhood heroes? It would be strange for him.
I'm sure he'll want Dons to win still.
No, of course,
but I mean, it's he'll have so many mixed emotions, I would imagine, for that game. It'd be very interesting to see what I'd love to know I'd love to be in his head for that game, if you know what I mean. Just to see what he was thinking during the game, and it'll be a very surreal experience, I would imagine, for him. But he'll love going back up there. It'll be a massive personal thing for him.
I'm sure that was the first fixture he looked out for when they were released.
But it's the same for Stephen Gleeson as well. I mean, he started there. Don signed him from Wolves as well, and Stephen Gleeson's got a massive affinity for that club as well. So I think Dan Potter was at Wolves.
He was, both the central holding midfield player there.
You never know though if that can, they've got that insight into Wolves. Maybe that can help for Saturday as well. The likes of Gleeson and Potter, so that could certainly help as well. And I was speaking to Stephen Gleeson during the week. Really interesting stuff what he had to say as well about Wolves. He was given a 2-year deal, but he wanted to play regular football, which is why I wanted to come to the Dons. And it was interesting speaking to him about his talent. Yeah,
and if they can get a result there on Saturday, huge turning point you feel for the rest of the season, especially going into the run up over Christmas.
The next few
fingers
games,
crossed.
I mean, the next few games after Wolves, Port Vale at home, you're looking at thinking got to win that because Crawley away is not going to be on Boxing Day.
Yeah. Brentford with their new manager in as well.
Well, a new manager always gives a team a boost as well.
It does, yeah.
It's Brentford away is going to be tough. They're up to third, fourth in the table, I think now, aren't they? It's also very, very tough Christmas for Dons.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how it all goes. And just finally, a bit of news away from the pitch, if you like. Potential new training ground in Newport Pagnell. This has been on the cards for a while. A new training ground, sort of top of the club's list, if you like, to get a better facility than the one they've been using down at Wifton on the Green. And there's some the council are going to be having a look at it.
Well, I was basically just looking through looking through all the council cabinet sort of agenda items, and it was just something on there about Tickford Farm Fields moving into sort of ownership of Interim Care. The councillors have got to agree this on Wednesday night, but I think the land will cost £2 million for Interim Care, £2.03 million, something like that, for Interim Care to purchase it. And then, I think if we can get an international standard training facility, which is what's kind of quoted in this agenda item, something like that would be massive. And then the infrastructure's there for the club for the next 20, 30 years, and if they can get that built. So, I think this season has always been about expanding the club beyond what's going on the pitch, really. Getting that infrastructure in and I think the training ground's key, really. As long as they don't get relegated this season, which shouldn't happen, then I think this season's always going to be a kind of development sort of season. And once the training ground's hopefully done, then you'd like to think that some of the money will come into on the field sort of.
Well, that's it. It's going to be a bit of a waiting game, I think, for the supportsupporters,
which is never easy as a supporter.
No, it's as football fans we're sort of naturally impatient, aren't we? But
definitely.
I do believe in a few years down the road we'll be looking back on this time and just not being too fussed about it, really.
I think that was the right thing to do at that time, and it's about growing. Obviously, the club's only 10 years old, pretty much. 9 years old, I should say. Sorry for kid on. So, the where they've gone in that 9 years is amazing, really, when you think about it. And if this can help develop for the next few years, then.
You never know, a nice new training facility to go to the stadium that could play a big part in attracting players to the club. It can even cut down on injuries as well.
I think that's the main aim of the training ground as well. I think the number of injuries Dons have had in training, I think that's they'll get the benefit, on the pitch as well with this new training facility, which would be absolutely, I think it'd be great. Hopefully, if there shouldn't be a problem with this council putting that through. It's all on this council agenda item, so
and you can.
I'll get it from really. So
I can imagine driving up to the gates, big MK Dons logo, it'd be quite a proud thing for the club and for the city as a whole when that facility, wherever it might be, opens up.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more on that.
Okay, I think for now that'll do us for this week. If you're headed to Wolves, enjoy the game, and you can follow us on Twitter at YourMKWebSports. Thanks very much, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers.
Cheers.